Welcome to a not comprehensive and mildly drunken review of the electoral campaign in America, which has just seen Donald Trump be elected as number 47, as well as having been previously been elected as number 45. And I want to give my thoughts on that because I went to the pub earlier on. Not that that's unusual in itself, but particularly tonight I wanted to go because I wanted to get the pulse of what people were thinking here in this country about the American election and what they thought, because it does affect us here. And people have very strong opinions about the US presidential election here for obvious reasons. It does affect us. And also, it's the biggest one in the world. There's no doubt about that. And what I discovered was fascinating. There were some people who thought that Donald Trump was the devil. He was Hitler, he was Mussolini, and so forth, as you'd expect from people that have been fed the woke mind virus and believed everything they'd seen on legacy media. There were one or two of those. One or two. There was a table of maybe 12, 15 of us, something like that. There were one or two who were stalwart Trump supporters, such as myself. We were also in the minority. It was, again, two or three of us who absolutely saw who he was for what he was and recognized that he was the best, not only for America, but for world security and all that stuff. We were in the minority too. They were about equal numbers, two or three of each. The overwhelming majority of people recognized that he had his flaws and he wasn't a particularly likable character. I disagree. I think he is likable, but most people thought on that table, and it's reflected in the votes in the election too, and the exit polls and everything came out reflecting something similar, that he wasn't particularly likable, but he was better than Kamala because the policies were better than Kamala. And that really is where the left let themselves down. They didn't have, or Kamala didn't have, Biden certainly didn't have, because he was too senile to know what his policies were. Kamala didn't have enough time to really pull her policies together. And so all she could cobble together in the last sort of, couple of months of the campaign was abortion, thinking that would be the ticket to ride her home. And of course it wasn't, because, if you look at America as a mass of people, it's pretty much split down the middle, those that are pro-choice and pro-life. So it wasn't the thing that was going to give her traction. She needed to also address things like the economy and things like national security, which the Democrats have notoriously been bad at. And she can't particularly say anything is going to change under her regime, because everybody really recognizes that while senile Joe, Sleepy Joe, was in charge on paper, it was really Kamala behind the scenes. And actually, what we've come to realize is that there's another layer behind the scenes. We all know about the deep state and everything, but the veil was lifted for a lot of people's eyes, because when Sleepy Joe went, although he's technically the president, we didn't fucking see him, did we, for the last few months? They just wheel him in front of a microphone to say some mad, funny old man shit. It's quite hilarious. He put a MAGA hat on. He wanted to slap Republicans on the bum. I mean, he became a comedy old senile man. It was quite hilarious. And Kamala obviously wasn't running the country because she was campaigning. She was flying off to do rallies all over the country, and so she wasn't in charge either. But America's kept running, so who was in fucking charge? We don't know necessarily. We've got an idea, but some sort of deep state shit. But the country kept running, so the whole thing was revealed for what it is, which is just a puppet show. At any rate, I'm very pleased that Trump has run for two reasons. One, because I think he did a tremendous job between 2016 and 2020, and secondly, because I don't think he's anyone's puppet. Whatever you think of Trump, he's got his own mind and his own ideas about what he wants to do with America, and he's very bullish about getting them. I don't think he'll do what he says on the tin, which is a lot more than can be said for most politicians these days. My only hope is that in 2029, in this country, having seen 4 years of Trump's presidency making America great again, as I have no doubt that he'll do, and Keir Starmer driving our country further and further into bankruptcy and terror, that when our elections come round in 4 years' time, we will welcome Nigel Farage and the Reform Party with open arms, so that we can have a taste of what America will be enjoying in the 4 years from now until when those elections are called here in the UK. And the transmission.